A very good morning and welcome back to another Daily Market Outlook. My name is Fabio and thank you for tuning in once again to another day where we analyze the major dollar pairs and of course gold. Now this weekend has been absolutely crazy. There has been a tariff war going on globally. Mexico, China, Canada, Europe, everybody is being affected by the tariffs that Trump is currently trying to implement or has implemented, and this is causing massive movements within the market and the market to be slightly unpredictable and not always respecting all the analysis. However, here on the weekly time frame on EURUSD, we have some good price action in the sense that we are currently all the way at the extreme low of this weekly fractal range. Now, if EURUSD is to push up higher, it should happen from the current prices. Looking for a potential short-term rebound in towards the highs here with around an 80 pip stop loss. I am doing it myself. I'll be looking at the lower time frame to see if we can get any lower time frame confirmation here on EURUSD to trade this potentially up higher once again. So this is what I'm currently looking for some form of recovery and then put the position to break even very fast. Now what we're seeing here on the weekly obviously is that the fractal structure is still being respected, and once this black line here breaks, that is going to be bad for EURUSD from a technical analysis perspective. In my personal opinion, it will invalidate any potential longs that I had here on EURUSD, because yes, the weekly fractal structure is still bullish, but the daily here is obviously bearish. We can very clearly see that this is currently your weekly or your daily area of supply that is currently in control, and we currently have a war going on between this area of supply and this area of demand here on the daily time frame. Now EURUSD has broken through a lot, guys. We had an area of demand here on EURUSD with liquidity right above it, but we can see that there was zero respectation, or whatever you want to call it, for that area of demand. Overall, the news has really pushed EURUSD heavily down, over 1%. And it's made EURUSD look like crypto. Now, what we had here on Friday was an area of demand that I was looking for some potential upside from that demand zone. However, we never got lower time frame confirmation. So I was pretty lucky. I explained this as well, I think, on the stream on Thursday, by the way, but we were pretty lucky not to be in it. Yes, we had an area of 4-hour demand here and daily demand, but we then saw this change of character in towards the highs. So at that point in time, we were looking for a long position inside of that 4-hour and that daily area of demand. But on the 1-hour time frame, we never saw the bullish confirmation. It was extremely clear here that the 1-hour time frame did not get any bullish reaction once it retraced in towards its demand zone. Here we had a 1-hour demand zone, but then you can very clearly see that we pushed in towards the downside, we pushed in towards the downside, and we just kept on pushing down lower and lower. So for myself, there were no long positions or valid long positions here on EURUSD that I ended up taking. So lucky me. And now we're looking here at the euro dollar with the potential, in my opinion, to, like I just mentioned, push up slightly higher again. So if you were to get in on any longs to, let's say, bet on the rebound here of the euro, then I would be very aggressive. I do think we'll see at least a retest of this area of supply this week, but it will depend on how the lower time frame performs as well. So let's see what the 15-minute does. Let's see if we can form a nice range here and maybe start breaking the highs again to trade this up higher. But then obviously we are very dependent on what Trump is going to be saying this morning or this afternoon during the New York session, because that could just push EURUSD further down once again. But looking for a rebound here this morning on EURUSD from this daily area of demand, which is the last line of defense. Obviously, once we start breaking this low here, further downside will definitely be possible. We've also seen a massive gap up here on the dollar. I was personally still very interested in shorts based on the daily fractal structure, as we still had daily fractal structure in control here last week, where we had this nice area of supply. But then you can see that this demand zone and the liquidation of these equal lows here was eventually enough to push the market up higher. And then especially if you were to draw in a fib here, you can very clearly see that the market pretty much rebounds in towards the 618. So let me just draw that in for you guys. So we had the 0.618 fib retracement level get hit with absolute perfection here, tapping towards that daily area of demand. We took out the equal lows, and that is eventually what pushed the dollar up higher. Now, personally, I'm waiting for the dollar to cool off a little bit. Again, technical analysis is now getting a little bit invalidated in the sense that we are now just simply said very dependent on what the news will do. So I'm going to be being a little bit safe here and not looking too much at the dollar, because again, every single announcement that is made is eventually just the thing that will push the dollar. Now, I took a loss here on AUDUSD myself. Again, full transparency, you guys know it. I took here a position last week on AU. It actually did very, very well on the 4-hour, where we saw a very nice strong push in towards the upside, because last week we saw that the Reuters posted an article about the fact that Trump's tariffs were going to be delayed until the 1st of March. But then later that day, the White House came out with a statement saying, no, we're going to implement them from the 1st of February. And then Trump just started going on a rampage about those tariffs. And then we could see, okay, we pushed up with around, let's say 50 pips in profit. So we were up around 0.7%, and then we saw, boom, a bearish candle again. And obviously over the weekend, we just absolutely crashed in towards the downside. We can clearly see that it's recovering, but yeah, I've already been stopped out. So personally, not going to really focus too much on AUDUSD for now until we see a high break here of the daily fractal high again, because currently we have this daily as your area of supply that is currently in control. So let's see what happens on that side of things. I'm just going to be keeping an eye out for this daily area of supply and how we react to that. If we break that daily area of supply, that is when I'll be interested in looking for long positions once again. But until that is not broken, then obviously this is the plan, but otherwise this will be the plan. So let's keep an eye out for these two scenarios. Obviously China has been implemented or handed tariffs as well of 10%. It's less bad, or it's not as bad as, for example, Canada or Mexico. But China has also not yet responded to the tariffs fully, if I am correct. So I'm going to be reading about it this morning and updating you guys inside Discord. But obviously China will react and will respond, and the Australian dollar is very dependent on what China does. So therefore I'm going to be having a look at that. But yeah, sadly here is stop hunt underneath the lows. So it is what it is for AUDUSD. And for now I just need to wait for it to cool off, and then I'll be keeping an eye out for this fractal high here and this as our area of supply for now. But yeah, risky times and risky markets for sure. Going into GBPUSD, we can see that GU has pushed down lower. So eventually what's happened here is that indeed the daily fractal structure has prevailed. So what's nice to see here, obviously, I know a lot of you were in short, so congratulations if you took those. The overall swing structure was bearish in towards the downside, and then we also had the fractal structure here, which was bearish in towards the downside from that high in towards this low. This was the reason that last week when I was looking for longs, that GU was my least favorite pair, because we obviously were inside daily supply, and that is beautifully pushed the market down lower. In all honesty, we can also very clearly see that we made a beautiful retracement all the way back up above the 0.7 fib. And then if you look at the 4-hour time frame, we obviously made a nice change of character here, and then eventually we made a push in towards this supply zone last week, where we had a nice range liquidation. So we had an area of consolidation right over here. And then what happened here is that we liquidated the range, we pushed in towards that 4-hour supply zone, and then from there, we saw a nice drop off, and then we had this area of supply here pretty much, eventually pushed the market down lower. So some very clean price action overall on GU. Sadly, didn't capitalize on it myself as a hedge. I did mention that you could take GU as a short hedge position due to the fact that I was in AU longs, which hit my stop loss again. But I know some of you took it, so congratulations if you did. Overall now for GU, I'll be waiting, not very interested just now to get into any positions on this. I want to see how the daily today closes, because here now we've seen another low break of the daily, and we've seen this demand zone get broken. So let's see if supply is really as strong as it seems for now. And we have this imbalance currently, which is in control on the supply side of things, that broke that demand zone. So let's see, can we now get a strong, let's say, daily candle close? Then maybe at the end of the week, or let's say tomorrow or Wednesday, see a retracement in towards that imbalance here, and the balance is a 50% body candle, and then from there maybe sell off down lower once again. So I'll be waiting today to see how the daily will close, and then based on that will I act up again and look for further downside or not. Going into NZDUSD next, we can see that NZDUSD was also pretty clean. Overall, NZDUSD has just missed out on those weekly lows, which we've been talking about for quite some time. These two lows were still open, so was looking to have those get taken out. But then again, you can see we're just building even more liquidity underneath those lows, sad to say. Looking here at the daily time frame, again, The daily or on NU was actually the best short together with GU due to the fact that we saw a bearish fractal shift last week already. We could very clearly see that this here was the supply zone that was in control. I should have taken it, but again, that is the was if or the should have in hindsight, the benefit of the hindsight. But this was obviously yeah, the nice short that you could have taken here. Around 1.6% profit would you have been at your peak. But yeah, overall a very nice daily setup there. Now obviously the daily setup has shifted. This is now your daily supply zone that is in control, or the daily order flow, due to the fractal structure now shifting up a bit. So I'll be keeping an eye on that daily area of supply there. Again, it depends very heavily on what is going to be said today. The markets are extremely volatile. Trump just has to needs to say one thing, and then again we're going to see massive movements. But I'll be giving it some time to develop. Let's see how we close, and then if this will become a strong area of supply or not. What do I mean with strong area of supply? Well, if we see that the daily closes bearish like this, or maybe a little bit stronger, then this is going to be a very nice supply zone to short from. But let's say today we just see a full-blown reversal all the way back up in towards, let's say, this level over here regarding price. You'll see that market just closes inside of that supply zone, and then the supply zone will become weaker, because often you just want to see a strong engulfing candle to confirm that this is valid supply. So let's keep an eye open how today closes, and based on that tomorrow will I be responding. But yeah, I'm not personally interested in this. The only pair that I'm actually very interested in is EURUSD, as I like the weekly fractal structure the most on that for a potential push up higher. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at on EURUSD. Then we have gold, the last of all, and gold, guys, was or has reached the all-time high as we anticipated on. This morning we have retraced into daily demand. So again, this is the sell before the buy up. Currently this is the fractal low, this is the fractal high. We saw a very nice retracement this morning where, well, again into the 0.5 fib, and then the 0.5 fib gets rejected. So again, very clean price action here from gold overall. Nice rejection of that 0.5 fib. I then go in towards the 4-hour time frame, and I'm now not personally interested in shorts. Yes, we do have 4-hour fractal structure against us, with this being the supply zone, but personally the daily is always going to be stronger. So yes, maybe we do dump down lower once again, but then I'll be more interested in more buys once we see a drop off in towards this area of demand. So either we look for another sell-off in towards that demand and then we buy again, or we need to wait for obviously the highs to get taken out, and we'll look for that upside continuation on gold. And then just simply follow the overall daily trend, as the daily trend is still bullish and the daily fractal structure is also still bullish as well. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to join Discord. I'll be there with some updates as well, and thank you very much.